Welcome to Lost on Ice, the show about the show 20 years later. Today, we're talking about the finale of Season 2. I'm Will. Also here is Ben, and you can watch full episodes of the podcast on YouTube if you aren't already. Ben and I also release a bonus hangout show every week that can be found at patreon.com/drskeleton. So today we have another double long episode or 2 episodes, depending on how you're watching it. This is the finale of Season 2, and we're just going to treat the finale as one single episode for this podcast. We're just going to talk about it all at once. Ben, one of the central crises of this episode is whether the button will be pressed or not. While we're recording this, we're recording this episode a little bit ahead of time, but this will be the first episode to be released after the election.
Sure.
I can't help but notice some thematic similarities, I guess. You're given a task and told it either means everything or nothing. Whether or not you participate in this singular pushing of a button is the all of it. And the end of the world looms large as a consequence. And, I mean, like, there you have it. I don't know. I don't really have much more to say on that front. I thought this was a great finale. This is a great finale to the show.
Yeah.
Or I guess to the season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, there's more? I thought, oh no.
I felt like everything was pretty wrapped up at the end of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
No more questions.
Yeah. What are your first impressions? I guess second first impressions. You like it?
Yeah, I mean, I like this whole season. It's a big step up from the first season, I think. Let's just keep getting into it. Season 3, bring on some more of the others. Weird
I'll have
stuff
some more,
on the
please.
island.
Yeah.
Less Charlie. Kill off some of the other bad characters, you know?
Who are the bad characters left? Charlie.
Charlie.
You don't like Bernard too much.
Yeah, Bernard, but he stays in the background most of the time, so
Jack.
I'm good. Jack.
I will say Jack has annoyed me way less this season. Like at this point in the season, I'm not like, all about Jack. I'm not like a Jack head. But
yeah,
he's not nearly as annoying as he was first season.
I don't like Kate very much, to be honest.
She's gotten nothing this season, though. Yeah. She has been given 0.
Yeah.
Even her, and even when she was given something, I guess, like the What Kate Did episode, I didn't really care. And I feel bad about that. But she could have been. I wish she was eviler.
Sure. Yeah. But let's keep getting new characters, stuff like that,
Well, speaking of new characters, kind of, a little bit. Well, actually, sorry. Let me set this up a little bit. This is called Season 2. Okay. This is called Live Together, Die Alone, which is, of course, Jack's line from the first season to describe how we get through this. This aired May 24th, 2006. It was directed by Jack Bender, and it was written by Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof. So new characters. This isn't quite a new character, but it's a return of the character. We're going to talk about the flashbacks first. Desmond is being released from the military prison in 2001 with a dishonorable discharge for unknown reasons, failing to stop 9/11.
Yeah.
So we get his full name here, and I think we argued about this a little bit earlier, but I'm pretty sure they had not said his full name until this moment.
Desmond,
because they made a big deal. They're like, his name is Desmond David Hume.
Yeah.
You really
Desmond, the philosopher David Hume.
I had a philosophy professor in college who had a bag of Hume in her office. I'm doing quotes for the listeners, which is just like a Ziploc baggie of just like items because he was an empiricist like John Locke, and he pioneered this. He had this. He invented this problem of induction, or discovered it, however you want to talk about how philosophical concepts are referred to. But basically, we cannot prove that the past predicts the future. That was David Hume's thing, and that passions should rule us rather than reason. So, Desmond Hume, the character, upon leaving the army, he runs into, upon leaving army, I sound like Tony Hale's character in Veep, but upon leaving, he runs into Charles Widmore, played by Alan Dale, who reveals that he had prevented communication between his daughter Penelope and Desmond while he was in prison, and strongly warns Desmond against attempting to reform a relationship.
Yeah.
And because I read it in an earlier summary, I remembered this. Widmore is indeed the name of the company on Son's pregnancy test. What the heck? He doesn't say like, as you know, I manufacture pregnancy tests, and I don't want you to stop seeing I want you to stop seeing my daughter.
Widmore is sort of a well, I don't want to say. I'm not saying that I know this for sure, but I would take that to believe that it's sort of like a Yamaha or Hitachi style company where they just make everything.
Lots of
pianos, pregnancy tests,
motorcycles,
nuclear reactors.
I thought you were gonna try to do a really bad job of diverting me, like Widmore's a super common name. Like anyone could be named Widmore. Desmond, wanting to prove that he is not a coward, travels to the United States from the United Kingdom to train for a sailing race around the world sponsored by Widmore. He meets Libby in a cafe, and after a deep conversation, Libby gives Desmond a yacht owned by her late husband.
Coming to America to prove you're not a loser, it's pretty good. They should do that with all British people.
God, okay, taking stock of my surroundings, what's the number one thing that I can do to prove I'm not a loser? It's getting out of the UK.
He got into an argument with somebody online, and they're like, I'll beat you. If you were in my neighborhood, I would beat you up. He's like, okay, I'm coming. I'm coming to your neighborhood. I'll fly to America, and we'll fight. And then he did it.
I really like Desmond. I really like the character, and I really like the actor. Henry Ian Cusick? He, like Michael Emerson, he looks like a movie actor rather than just a TV guy. Like, he's got a good, distinct look. He's got, the Scottish voice is awesome, and like his whole shit is pretty sick. While Desmond is training, Penny tracks him down and angrily questions him. And we see there's a moment in the background where Jack is seen arriving at the stadium to run in his goofy ass do-rag type setup.
Yeah.
Desmond tells Penelope that he is determined to win Widmore's race and promises that he will return. He's like, basically says like, Penelope, I have to go do this video game side quest. Like, you don't understand. This side quest is very important to me. Yeah. However, while sailing, Desmond gets caught in a bad storm and washes up on the island. He has this whole thing. I don't think that the summary gets into this, and if it does, I'm gonna repeat it later. Sorry, but he like loves Charles Dickens. That's his. He explains that he loves Charles Dickens, and he's read all of his books except Great Expectations. Or no. Which one was it?
Wasn't that?
It wasn't
something
that one.
Else. I don't know.
Whatever. He's leaving one to read when he knows he'll die, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, Penelope asked him, "Did you ever read that book?" And he's like, "No, I haven't." Not yet. Someone
else tells him at some point, like, that like sounds good, but like how you gonna know when you're gonna die? Which
Mhm.
is good. Touche. Very good point.
Very good point. In real life, in a show like this,
Awesome.
Desmond is rescued by a man in a yellow hazmat suit. Kelvin Inman, our man Clancy Brown, who is also the American intelligence officer that releases Saeed in one of his flashbacks. And he takes him to the Dharma Initiative Swan Station and shows him the orientation film. He explains that it was edited by Stuart Radzinski, his former partner who faked a lockdown event and created an invisible map on the blast doors with him, and then took his own life while Inman was asleep. So I was kind of right about that too. I didn't. I guessed. I guessed that they did it during supply drops, but I thought that it was like they're trying to conceal the map. They're doing invisible ink, and they're doing that during lockdown events.
Mhm.
Inman also explains that the incident was a leak of electromagnetic energy from the Swan that builds up and has to be discharged by pushing the button unless someone accesses a failsafe and, quote, blows the dam. And this was actually, like, I know it's a little bit of TV writing or whatever. I found that very, like, perfectly plausible for, like, a TV show kind of thing. For, like, just say, like, something that just builds up energy and you just have to discharge it or else things are going to go really, really bad. I don't know why there has to be like a manual involvement in that
Yeah.
on site.
For especially a time-based thing, seems kind of strange, but yeah.
But it worked enough for me. Desmond lives together with Kelvin for 3 years. Another way of saying that would be Desmond and Kelvin lived together for 3 years before Desmond finds out that Inman is secretly planning on escaping the island using Desmond's boat that is there that he's been fixing up. Desmond violently confronts Inman about this, accidentally killing him in the process.
It's good lawyer speak there. I had a violent confrontation rather than I pushed a guy over and bashed his head into a rock.
Yeah, but it was clearly an accident.
Oh, I mean, it
I
was an
thought
accident. I'm just saying violent confrontation is big lawyer talk.
I would not even say violent. I would just say confrontation.
Sure.
I would say things happen,
Yeah.
Mistakes were made. After almost letting the countdown timer run down and causing a system failure, Desmond starts drinking liquor and a few days later contemplates suicide. And Zoe notices at some point in this episode, I don't know if it's this bottle of liquor and the other ones, but they don't have the Dharma Initiative logo on them.
Eagle eyes over here. Did not catch that myself either.
Before he shoots himself, however, Desmond hears John Locke banging on the hatch door and turns on a light. Desmond then realizes that there is still hope and decides not to kill himself.
Sawyer drinks something that's definitely not Dharma Initiative as well. He drinks something that looks like Jameson.
Yeah.
It's got the green bottle with the red cap. Yeah.
So, but that's
Interesting.
so do you think we're taking this to mean like this was stuff that was on Desmond's boat that was like the supplies washed up?
Jameson is behind. Big AB InBev is behind all of Lost Island.
On the island, while at the funeral for Anna Lucia and Libby, a boat comes into view out at sea. Jack, Said, and Sawyer swim out to it and climb onto the boat. This was so funny. Me and my boys getting our jeans wet together.
every time somebody dives into the water in their jeans, it's very funny.
It's so crazy.
They are so fast to rip off their shirts, like beach guard. What do you call it?
Lifeguard.
Lifeguard style. Nobody can ever spare a couple more seconds to go down to like the boxers. It's just always Jeans.
It's more distracting to
bootcut
be
jeans.
swimming in jeans than to have them be swimming in their boxers. I gotta say,
Yeah. Yeah.
just have them swim in their boxers. It's crazy that they're in their wet jeans.
Would you be I'm not a belt guy. Would you be wearing a belt? Because these guys are always wearing belts too, it
I'm a belt
seems.
guy.
You would if you were compelled to strip down to your jeans, would you leave the belt on? I guess maybe if you're swimming, yeah, but it's
I
just
think so for the
it seems
drag to just keep.
goofy. It just seems goofy to me, the
Yeah,
belt. Yeah. Yeah. Very strange.
don't be swimming in your jeans, guys.
Yeah. Daniel Plainview
Lose
doesn't
the
do that
shorts.
in There Will Be Blood when he's swimming. He's not swimming in pants, and old guys like that, they'd be swimming in their pants, I feel like. If guys today,
When does he swim in Where There Will Be Blood?
with the fake brother, when they go to the beach and then he realizes
Oh yeah.
the brother, whatever,
Okay.
wasn't
I
real.
was just thinking a great deal about Paul Thomas Anderson today.
Hmm.
Nothing more to add on that. Just thinking about him.
Nice.
Okay, so they hear music coming from inside the boat once they get out there. Shots are fired from inside the boat through the boat hatch entrance. After breaking the hatch open, they find a drunken Desmond piloting the boat. The next day, after Mr. Echo prevents Locke from destroying the computer that controls the timer, Locke enlists Desmond's help in letting the timer run down to 0. There was this really good this wasn't in a previous episode, right? Like Locke greeting Desmond and says, like, what did one snowman say to the other? Smells like carrots. Or was it in a previous episode?
I don't remember.
Neither Zoe nor I
No.
were like, we didn't, this is new, right? But they just have this vibe.
Yeah. There is, I think I've missed it in the summary because it's not that notable to make it into the summary, but I think in this episode, there's a scene where Locke and Hume sit down on the beach, cross-legged, and they have
This is the scene.
philosopher vibe
Mm-hmm.
of like, where, in case you didn't notice, viewers, were the two of the main philosopher named dudes, and we're sitting down and we're talking shop right now. And I thought, ooh, that's interesting. And then I remembered, I don't know anything about those guys, so I have no idea if there's anything deeper than that going on. I will ask Will. Was there any little fun Easter eggs?
I'm sure like people who know more about it could have a more interesting read on it. But what I am taking from it it's a kind of a surface level thing, but like John Locke is kind of like the OG empiricist, the philosopher, and David Hume builds on a lot of his work. They are in the same academic tradition of the same schools of thought, sort of thing.
Were they
and we see
not contemporaries?
That's a good question. I don't know. They were both British. Does that help? I don't know. Okay, David Hume lifespan. Okay. Hume was 1711 to 1776. Why'd you die in 1776? You just scared that your colony broke free?
Fair weather fan.
And John Locke was 1632 to 1704. So they did not overlap.
Okay.
But 2 generations there. But okay, what I took from it was that like they are like they agree. Not that they agree. They're they have a connection. Like they were vibing. They were like clearly connecting and like socially in that moment. Yeah.
An old head and a young head of the philosophy movement, connecting to collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
But that was a cool scene, and I liked the snowman joke. They kind of do have similar personalities in certain ways too. We're like, I'm not going to do a good job of explaining this, and so thank God I'm not here to try to do it. I'm not my role here isn't to try to explain any of my thoughts. Jesus Christ! But okay, Desmond clearly he calls everyone brother, right? And like I don't know, Locke kind of is like an American version of that, or he treats people like super earnestly in a weird way. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It makes sense that the two of them get along. I think they're both kind of weird guys.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, Locke enlists Desmond's help. He's like, "Okay, you got to sober up. We got a job to do." And so Desmond hotwires the blast doors. The summary's going to talk about each like plot line, and then like one at a time. And so like obviously these kind of converge at the end. So it sort of seems like we're blowing the end of the episode early, but this is how it goes. Desmond hotwires the blast doors shut, locking Echo outside the computer room, and Desmond and Locke inside of it. You could almost say, let me see how I can work this in. Earlier in the episode, Locke goes and visits, Echo, sitting at the computer, and there's this room that the computer's in, right? You could almost call it the Echo Chamber.
Nice.
And we're ending the podcast. Okay, so Echo, distraught, seeks Charlie Pace's help, and the two attempt to use the dynamite to blow the blast door open. They go and get the dynamite, but the blast doors are unscathed while they are both injured. Is that true? I thought they blew open the door.
No, they didn't blow it open.
Okay, so does Desmond open it?
Yeah, remember he unhotwires it.
He hotwires
it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Charlie really, I don't know what the analogy is here, but like kind of a pleb playing with the Titans of my probably three favorite characters or so. You got Locke, you got Echo, you got Hume, and then you got Charlie.
Yeah. Coughing baby versus atomic bomb style scenario. Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on with him? Doesn't really do much in that scene, is what I mean. Could kind of just get rid of him.
I agree. Although like it's getting get rid of him in a kind of like neutral way too. It wasn't that he was doing anything like particularly specifically aggravating, the way that he has done much in the past. It just sort of seemed like, oh, there he is. And it honestly seemed like he was like kind of, let's talk it out, let's talk it through. I think that could be, worthwhile to figure out too. I saw that, like, I guess somebody reviewed this and was like, they just added this to make us hate Charlie. Like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I hated Charlie before. I don't think I got any new ammo to hate Charlie in this one.
He's like a kind of a very neutral presence in here. What is going on in this episode that you're like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, just make me hate him?
Who knows? No, yeah.
But it was worthy enough to be like included in the Wikipedia section about the reception. But whatever. Okay.
I do think it's very funny when earlier when Echo decides his new calling in life. This is an episode or whatever earlier, but when he decides his new calling is like, I'm going to be the button pusher guy. That Charlie shows up and he's like, oh, what about the church? And Echo's like, this is my new calling. And he's like,
I'm on some new shit. Get out of here.
What about my what about my calling in life? And he's like, Charlie, your calling right now is to go get me my shit from the the
Yeah.
beach.
Yeah. But it is really cool that like, yeah, Echo shows up and it's like, um, yeah, I know I'm from the tail section. Sorry, I'm a main character. And like Charlie, fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you got bumped.
Yeah.
Here comes Charlie JV Pace. Oh yeah, so Locke and Echo attempt to use the dynamite to blow the blast door open, but the doors are unscathed and the two are injured. Meanwhile, Desmond and Locke discuss the purpose of the stations, and Desmond explains that when he accidentally caused the system failure, the magnetic force pulled Oceanic Flight 815 towards the island, thus causing the crash.
He
That's
did not
Desmond's
explain
view.
that. He did not explain that, but he did say
He says
that
that. Or
the
says that he causes it.
he said, "I think I caused your plane to crash."
Yeah.
I don't think he goes through the electromagnetic thing.
Really probably should have. Probably explain that I feel like this whole situation could have gone down a little bit differently if people just like told each other the information they have available.
Sure. But is that necessarily it? Or is there still a more mystic explanation, which is that, okay, there's this electromagnetic thing, but maybe it's just like, you know, the the time expires and something bad in the world happens or in the vicinity happens.
Yeah, I'm not taking this to say that like this is definitively the purpose of the station or anything like that. I think it's very plausible. I think that like we're seeing there was a moment. Sorry, this is a little bit of a diversion, but it's about the magnetic stuff. There's almost like I wrote down in my notes like, does Echo just not know about magnets? Like maybe if he just knew about magnets, like this would like have gone down a little bit different. But he like goes towards the thing and his like necklace is pulling and he's like freaking out, sort of thing. If someone just said like, oh yeah, no, it's magnets, like would that just be maybe
No
you've
comment
never run
from
into
me.
magnets before? Oh.
Sure.
But I mean the electromagnetic thing, I'm satisfied with that explanation insofar as like it works with what we've seen, and I'm not dead set on that being the end all be all though as well.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, Locke continues to doubt that the timer has any meaning, but Desmond assures him that it is all real. As the timer passes 0, causing another system failure, and we see those hieroglyphs again, Desmond retrieves the failsafe key that he obtained from Inman and crawls underneath the hatch, saying that he will blow the dam. After he turns the key in the system termination switch, a shrill humming noise and violet white light envelops the entire island, causing the Oceanic 815 survivors and the others alike on opposite sides of the island to bend in apparent pain. I wasn't getting the bending, but I guess.
I got some wincing.
Yeah.
Some,
Ooh.
it's bright light.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody suddenly bends over and grab their stomach and said, "Ooh, my tummy hurts."
Everyone does the Neo Matrix dodge at the same time. Whoa. And they're back. That night, Charlie is the only person to return from the hatch. The whereabouts of Desmond, Echo, and Locke are not shown. Charlie reconnects with Claire, and they kiss as they sit amongst their fellow plane survivors. And I was frustrated by this. They spent so much time making Charlie irredeemable and 0 time redeeming him.
Yeah.
I guess. And not to say that like you can't like go through different phases or like that like someone is truly irredeemable or, whatever. But am I wrong on like we all were there when he like was stealing the baby and we never really quite reckoned with that. And now we're smooching, you guys?
Yeah. People got to watch out for her. a little bit more too, you know? If you got this kind of guy that's got a weird relationship with a woman on the island and like he stole her baby in the past and he's been kind of creepy with her and you're gonna let them kind of get back to doing that pretty quickly. You gotta watch out. But their tummies hurt from the light, so maybe that's why nobody's paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah, like maybe Rose or like another like woman who's been through some more life than Claire can like talk to her about bad dudes or something or like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's
Hey,
still your baby.
he just gave you basically unmarked medicine
Yeah.
earlier in the day. Yeah. Give it some
I
time.
never really had like any friends who had the like, I know this is like a thing that you hear about like people who like, oh, they're always breaking up and getting back together. They're breaking up, getting back together. That was never really something that I knew anybody who was going through that with.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing Claire is the kind of Claire and her, you know, she maybe that's what's going on here. Is that what's happening? Like, you know, you're with somebody and then you've broken up and they steal your baby and then you're like, ah, it's fine. And all of the friends have to just kind of be like, oh, that's great that you guys are together again. I knew you were meant for each other. And then like, oh, we broke up and you're like, ah, I knew he was no good for you. And then you just go through that every other week, that kind of thing.
I guess. I wouldn't. I'm not jumping to the conclusion of blaming the woman. I'm gonna
Oh
say
yeah.
it's
No, I think it is her fault.
No, yeah. That's what you think.
Mm-hmm.
I will blame Charlie for just being a weirdo, but uh, a very convincing weirdo. He's kind of got that Hobbit look to him, you know, that people love.
He just looks like that guy from the
He
movie that
just
came
looks
out
like
a few
such a
years ago.
trustworthy guy.
Mm.
People were probably watching that movie on the airplane. Lord of the Rings is definitely on a
Yeah.
flight.
I do kind of blame Claire. Not really.
Nice.
Not like, well, what the hell? What are you doing smooching Pace over here? What's
Yeah,
that about?
he's convincing. You know what
He's
they
not.
should have? I would be. I think that's what they should have done. Just, I think that's what they want you to think, sort of. And I think they should have done Lost, but instead of having Dominic Monaghan be Charlie Pace, the dude who sings the song that nobody seems to know, "You All Everybody,"
Yeah.
they should have just made him Dominic Monaghan, and he's the one character, the one real character on the show, and he's just the Lord of
I
the
would like
Rings
that. Yeah.
guy, you know. It
I mean, I can
basically
see
be the
like what
same
I'm
thing.
sure they've like he's definitely like of the faces like the most well known face at the time of the start of the show, and they made him like a. I think they're having some fun with his character being like, somebody from a
Rockstar.
really well known band, but like it's kind of a has been. Not that he was a has been at the time, but just like he wasn't a main character. I mean, he was a main character of the show, but he wasn't like Aragorn or Frodo or something.
Sure.
He was kind of like second ring Hobbit character. But yeah, I agree. So they should have had him just play himself and still do all the same things, including being really bad at guitar again. It's so funny anytime that he's playing the guitar. It's just so ass.
Why are his fingers like? Okay, I know that they landed, or they they crashed.
Ooh, this is crucial information. They actually
Part of the
did not
show.
mean to be here.
They crashed, and he's a rock star, so he's got dirty finger, and he does heroin, so he's got dirty fingernails and dirty hands and that kind of stuff, right? It's crap under the fingernails, dirt on them. they're painted, but they're chipped off, that kind of stuff. Everyone's kind of on the same playing field though at this point because they've been there for like 3 months or whatever it is. I forget how long, but you're all on the same playing field. Everybody else on the island maintains a pretty good level of hygiene, you
Claire
know?
is always like pristine,
Yes.
like
And she's got
shampooed,
a
everything.
baby.
Yeah.
Charlie's still got the crap under his
Hey, bud, why
fingernails.
don't you hit the shower
Is he
every
just
once in a while?
also just stop digging around in the dirt or whatever you're doing, you know? Like you gotta be sticking your hand
I'm eating
in the
grubs.
mud.
Yeah. We've got like
Yeah.
beef jerky. Like it's fine. You don't need to be doing
Yeah.
that.
We've had this figured out for a while.
Yeah. Okay, so the survivors split up into 2 groups to head to the others' camp. Michael, Jack, Kate, James, and Hurley, walk on land to the camp, bringing guns and ammunition with them. Meanwhile, Saeed, Sun, and Jin plan to use Desmond's sailboat to go by sea. Saeed, talks to Sun, is like, all right, I need Jin to come with me. And then Sun's like, I'm coming too. And the 3 of them get on the boat. Go after it. Saeed plans to use black smoke as a signal, saying that this time they will know that we are coming. A reference to the attacks in the first season finale. When the boat reaches the others' camp, Saeed finds it to be deserted. Meanwhile, Michael, Jack, Sawyer, Hurley, and Kate engage in a gun battle with some others that were following them, and Sawyer kills one.
Is it
Jack
a battle or is it a skirmish? That seems like something the Wikipedia people should have got.
Skirmish. That's skirmish.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not in battle
Belligerent.
territory.
Put that on the Wikipedia page. I like when it's split down with belligerence, and it says, the tail section led by Jack, and how many fatalities? 0 fatalities, right?
No, Sawyer killed. Gotcha. Sorry, yeah, 0 fatalities.
0, 3 captured, 1 released. On the other side, they've got at least 1 or 2 kills, or 1 or 2 deaths, but unknown approximately 15 dudes on the others side, led by Zeke, commanded by Zeke, I would say, roughly.
Jack confronts Michael about leading the group into a trap, and Michael confesses to the murders of Ana Lucia and Libby. They realize that Michael has led them to a location other than the beach, ruining their former plan to meet up with Saeed. There they see a large pile of pneumatic tube carriers, the little vessels. Yeah. Suggesting that the report sent out from the monitoring hatch discovered in the episode ? Had never been read. They were just there to be piled up.
Where were they getting the pneumatic tube carrier things? Because there's a ton.
Here's a supply of 100,000 tubes. Yeah.
I feel like a nice thing about pneumatic tubes is you can usually just send it back. You know? Why do we keep getting new pneumatic tube every day? Strange.
Yeah, I guess that'd probably be too much to try to just like explain, but that's kind of not. That'd be kind of cool if we found out that there was some sort of like mechanical mechanism of just like opening it and just letting the shit fall out and then like closing it back up and sending it back empty.
Yeah, that'd be better. Yeah, much better.
And this wasn't in the summary, but I remember this happened. Either Jack or Sawyer, I can't remember which one it was, but they pick up the map that Locke had drawn from memory off of the blast doors, like in that pile.
Yep.
Shortly after the discovery of the tube pile, they hear whispers, and suddenly Sawyer, Kate, and Jack are incapacitated by electric darts. They're like buzzing.
I didn't catch the electric part either.
They were buzzing though. You agree?
Yeah. But I mean, I guess
I didn't pick up they were electric, but I knew that. But when I saw the word electric, I was like, that makes sense. They're buzzing.
Okay. Too many things going on. I was distracted by the fact that they were darts mostly.
That was distracting to you?
Well, yeah, if somebody drops an atomic bomb versus a nuclear bomb on your city, and you're like there, I'm probably not going to notice the difference,
Oh, yeah. I was racking my brain. I
If
like,
somebody shoots me with
what is the difference? Is there a difference?
yeah, it could be possibly. We all know the answer. As per usual, we all know the answer, but leave it as an exercise to you, the listener, to
Uh-huh.
fill in the blanks. Yeah. If somebody shoots me with a dart, I'm not thinking about whether it's electric or not. Probably. Probably. I'm just thinking
Okay,
I'm
but that's
scared.
not the
I'm
scenario. You're
scared.
watching someone else get shot by
Well, I know, but I'm
darts.
scared for them too. If I'm
Oh,
in a
okay.
situation where people are getting shot by darts, this is the best example yet. I'm distracted by the fact that people are getting shot, not thinking about what type of dart it is?
Okay. But that's again still not the scenario. You're still the scenario is you're watching a TV show. This is
Oh yeah.
happening.
But
And you can just say that to anything. It's that's like I didn't catch his name. I was crash landed on an island, on a deserted island. Like, yeah, okay, no, you weren't. You're watching a TV show.
Yeah, but that's how I think through it. I mean, that's a good example. I don't usually catch people's names because I'm distracted by what's going on.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I
I'm
guess I
freaked
mean
out.
whatever. It's also the it's not. I'm sort of saying this as if that still makes any sense. Like, oh yeah, they were electric darts. Like that is a nonsensical like combination of words. They were just buzzing. I guess maybe in the next season we'll get into what the fuck that means. The hostages, then they all go down. They all go down. The hostages, bound and gagged, are brought to a dock where it appears that the others are led by Henry Gale, one Michael Emerson. And so immediately my brain is going to like that, conversation that he had earlier where he was talking about like their leader. And he was like, the man is like not, or he's not, forgiving or something like that. But my mind also immediately went to, if he's so smart and important and wily, how did Danielle even capture him? Did he really fall for the teddy bear and like pick it up and get it caught in the net? That's silly. Gail keeps, but I'm stoked to see Michael Emerson. You know, like hey,
Yeah.
this was my main hope. I said last week that I hope that Michael Emerson comes back, and here he is. Hooray! Gail keeps his bargain with Michael, returning his son Walt to him and giving them an old fishing boat with instructions to sail in a heading of 325 degrees until they are rescued. Michael threatens Henry that he could tell the outside world of the island's location. Henry responds by telling him that it wouldn't matter as they would not be able to find the island. They should return, or should they return. He also gives Michael a counter threat. If he did tell people of the island's location, people would know what he did to get his son back. Meaning killing some people.
That's always a good one in a movie. A good little blackmail thing,
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you go, but you'll never say anything about this because then people will figure out that you're a bad person because of whatever it is that you did.
It is a little bit undermined, I think, by combining two like really good reasons. Like,
Sure,
if
that's
you're
true
like,
too.
I had a friend in high school who wanted to take Arabic, and he's Lebanese, family speaks Arabic, and his mom told him, "You can't take Arabic. One, it's too hard, and two, you already know it." Both of which are like two great answers, but in combination do not work.
Sure. Yeah.
And here, if it's like, you wouldn't be able to find this island. Also,
Yeah.
they know you won't tell anybody either.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good real life aphorism that if you need more than one excuse or one reason to do something, then you shouldn't do it.
Is that true?
It's a little aphorism. It's a
Do
little
you believe
aphorism.
that? If you That there should only be one reason to do something?
Some things. I mean, but I think it's for the same reasoning there of like in, that like you should have one really good reason. If you're trying to convince yourself using two, you're kind of or two or more, you're starting to often undermine, you know, undermine something, undermine your reasoning. I kind
I
of
don't know
believe
if I
that one.
agree with you. You
I think
can't have like multiple
this is
great
a
reasons to do something?
I mean, this is a great example, right? Where you're like, those sounded like if you just said one of those things, I'd be pretty convinced. But now the fact that you've said two, I'm doubting you.
Well, okay, I think part of this is that yeah, like this is helpful for deception or manipulation. You should give somebody if you're trying to manipulate somebody into doing what you want them to do, you should give them one really good reason.
Sure. But what if that person is yourself? I think that's what the part that I believe, which is you should give yourself one really good reason.
And if there's another good reason that undermines the whole thing,
It's just it's just a, vague after. It's not that there can't be other good things, but if you have two
I don't know what
reasons,
your defensive like. It's just an aphorism. Like, so what?
if you
It's
have a
just
second
it's just
one,
something to say. Like, are you arguing for its like valence or not?
if you have yeah, I think if you have a second one, then it's maybe you shouldn't do it.
What? You just say it over.
I don't know where to go from here.
Okay. I'm just thinking like you're like I got this like great job, like it's an offer for a great job, like it pays really well and it has really good like vacation benefits or like really great vacation. Like it's like, well, then don't take it. If it has two good things, don't do it.
I actually maybe no, I don't know. Maybe if you're telling yourself those two reasons, maybe don't do it because maybe you're lying to yourself about both of them.
Okay. Gotcha.
You know, if you're just like, it pays, I'm deciding to do this thing because it pays really well, it compensates me really well,
Yeah.
then good. But if you're like, it pays really well, and also the vacation, if you need, maybe another way to put it, if
And I
you
don't have to
need,
move that far, and like I only have to go in the office like 4 days a week instead of
yeah,
5.
then you're really deceiving
Yeah.
yourself.
Okay, I think
Maybe
I
it
should.
should be phrased slightly, and I didn't. It's not like I really quoted it. I said it very poorly, like I say everything. But like, maybe it's more about if you need more than one reason, and then you're kind of
Interesting.
deceiving yourself.
That feels. I think you got me. Very interesting. You got life advice on the podcast too. Check it out.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to go to a podcast and get life advice? Every other podcast. Okay. Michael reluctantly accepts this deal, but asks who Henry and his people are, to which Henry responds, "We're the good guys, Michael." Michael uses the boat to get him and Walt off the island. This was also very funny too. Like, I guess Walt was just sort of like, what's it called in video games where where like a character, like you can see a character in the distance, but like you're not close enough to activate its like response to you.
They're just out of
like
range.
you see like Walt essentially like T-posing like underneath like in the boat, and then like Michael's been like shouting to on the dock about whatever, and then like he says like Walt, and Walt like snaps into his animation. He's like, "Dad, you're here."
Yeah. Yep.
Michael uses the boat to get him and Walt off the island. Hurley is then released and sent back to the other survivors with a message that they are to stay away from the others' part of the island.
Just such weird phrase. Sorry, Wikipedia guy again. uses the boat to get off the island. That's just Michael gets in the boat. Michael just
Yeah.
starts to drive the boat.
With a combination of the dock, his shoes, and the boat, Michael departs from the island. Yeah.
Michael uses the sustenance that he's picked up at the shelter overnight to propel himself across the island using his two legs.
Converting the oxygen in the atmosphere to energy. as well as the coordination that he's developed over the years of being a human being to be able to locomote, Michael gets off the island. Yeah. So as Hurley is let go, the other three captives are taken away. There's a little moment where, like, Hurley looks at the other three, and Jack gives him a nod, like it's okay to leave.
Yep.
Ben, we get an epilogue. The scene shifts to a cramped research station somewhere far from the island in a polar climate. Two men speaking a language, which do you know what language they're speaking?
Dutch.
They're speaking Portuguese. Remember. Anytime I hear Portuguese, it always throws me off because it's like it feels like Russian Spanish is what Portuguese always sounds like to me. Like if you somehow combine the two. And also, I guess, like the polar climate also made me sort of biased towards Russian, but it's Portuguese, I guess. Two Portuguese speaking men.
Why not Australia or Argentina or Chile? That could be another polar climate.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Sorry.
Wait, there's polar climate in Australia?
No, but I mean, if you're imagining that they're near the poles, like they're either near the North Pole or they are near the South Pole, they're on some icy thing, mostly away from claimed territory, national territory.
Is there icy stuff in Australia?
Probably on a mountain, but no. Okay. I just assumed that they were in. Does it say? I assume that they were in Antarctica because I can't remember where they actually are.
I don't think it says.
You assume. It sounds like you assume that they were near the North Pole.
Yeah, I assumed it was north. Although South Pole makes sense, if only for like a The Thing reference sort of thing. Like it kind of feels Antarctic base type.
It would be setting. Closer than the North Pole to where they are, presumably because they're still presumably in the southern hemisphere.
Well, I don't know why that would matter though. Like this is just somewhere else in the world. It doesn't need to be like close by or anything.
That's true.
But anyway, these two Portuguese-speaking men are playing chess, but they're interrupted by an alert on the monitor displaying the message 7418880. Electromagnetic anomaly detected. And Ben, I'm sure you picked this up. The number 7,418,880 is the product of the numbers 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, and 42.
Whoa! I
did all that in my head. I didn't need to read that on Wikipedia.
Immediately noticed that one.
Mm-hmm.
Why the product though? This is what I don't always get about. I mean, numerology stuff is obviously fake, but like I never know how people decide. I think that's the thing. They don't know how they decide either, but somebody wrote this. So why the product? Why not the sum? Why not?
I mean, it was just something. I think all it is just like, the writer is just like, just decided at some point, be like 4 times, 8 times, that like, that's just what they do.
Yeah. Sure.
Using the note, not that it means anything that it's the product,
but it could be, maybe there's a reason. There could be a reason. In theory, somebody could have a reason, for those numbers mean other things, and the product of those other things means something too, but whatever.
No, excuse me. One of the men makes a frantic phone call when this happens and wakes up one Penelope Widmore in the middle of the night and tells her, I think we found it.
I think we found it.
Earlier in the episode, Penelope says, like, with enough money and determination, you could find anyone.
Yep, exactly. Do you have anything to say to me about that? Like a little apology?
Do I?
Yeah, me and the United States Federal Aviation Administration, who you doubted before.
Penelope is not part of the
She's not
FAA,
part
big
of the
dog.
FAA. She's not part of the FAA, but I told you, people care. People care about planes.
Well, Penelope doesn't care about planes. She cares about Desmond. She doesn't. This isn't about Oceanic Flight 815 at all. So you are especially
But
wrong.
it doesn't matter. I understand that. I understand that. But the factor of the matter is,
The factor of
peop,
the
peop,
matter.
people are looking in a place where they're maybe gonna look in a place where they're maybe gonna find people that were on the plane.
I guess I will admit that I did not count on the whims of an eccentric billionaire to dedicate a lot of resources into this, which is a bit of a Deus Ex Machina, I gotta say, of like, yeah, you just have if you just throw money at it, overcome the supernatural thing. No, I guess you got me. Did not anticipate that. One thing that the summary did not touch on is that Saeed sees a statue at some point, or the boat with Sun, Jin, and Saeed. They look through the binoculars and they see a statue, or a piece of a statue, the remainders of a
Four-toed.
statue, presumably. Yeah, a four-toed statue. And I
What?
gotta say, we're gonna
Jack's
see what?
if only Jack had seen it. He's been established to be the
Mm-hmm.
foot guy in a
He's
previous episode.
he's worshiping at the
Ooh.
foot of
Yeah.
I think that we're gonna see a four-toed statue. I think we're gonna see an 8-toed statue. I think we're gonna see a 15-toed statue. I think we're gonna see a 16-toed statue over the course of the rest of the series.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I don't. I mean, we don't really get too much. That is, but we did see, like, when Saeed is like going through that camp, we see that it's false. That hatch was leading to nothing. We still don't know what's going on with the others at the end of the show. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't know, like, are the others and the Dharma Initiative connected in some way? I guess they were using the bunker, like the medical station. They seem to be using it pretty, like, in accordance with its design, or at least they were able to fit their purposes to its design.
Yeah. I want to ask you before we leave it too much, though. To you, what does the statue? How much information do you get out of the statue? Imagine you're there, or imagine you're just watching the TV show as you've done. Does the if you're seeing that foot statue thing, are you thinking, this is yet another, like, we've already seen that the island has been inhabited and that it has been inhabited by modern man, right? And developed with these hatches and stations and that kind of stuff, right? Now you see a statue. Does that, in your mind, register as like, oh, that's just another artifact of this bigger mystery that we've already kind of uncovered about the island, which is that it was populated by this initiative of people, and we've also got these
No, this is not
others?
initiative to me.
This
This
is some,
is, and this
okay.
is not others to me either. I don't think. Or I guess
What
it
is
could be
it?
others. It could be others.
To
This
you,
is,
what
I
is
mean,
it?
like, I'm reading it as ancient civilization.
Okay.
That's how it reads to me, just because of the ruin of it. That's how I think you would, like, an art department would depict something from antiquity, as we like to say.
Sure.
Sure. And the Dharma, we see that, like, the Dharma Initiative is still like we see the supply drop. That's like an active thing.
Yep.
And things are still, like, operational in that case, and it seems to have been going on since the 80s, but that's not antiquity.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on with the others. I think they're a separate entity than Dharma Initiative. Maybe the others are somehow part of this ancient civilization that is like always lived on this island, or like maybe their distant ancestors were the one who set up this big statue that had since been mostly dilapidated.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of think that isn't the case either. I think what this means is that I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not sure about any of this. I'm just wilding out with some random guesses about the overall mystery of the island. Okay. I think that the island has some like mystical, magical, supernatural, or potentially explicable by science properties of like, you know, some sort of unique properties of like, maybe it's the electromagnetic thing, but maybe there's other stuff going on too. And some ancient civilization or some ancient people recognized that and worshipped it, or erected some big statue about it. That's that. And I'm choosing to go that way rather than being like, oh, there's this ancient civilization that's sort of like Promethean that that's the causal incident that it's, or like I'm choosing to fit. I don't think it's like necessarily ancient people that like made this place special. I think the place was special, and then like some ancient people discovered that it was special. But maybe it's flipped. I'm open either way. There's nothing saying which way it could go. And then later on, over the course of millennia, various people have come to understand this as a special place one way or another, and they understand it in different ways. Maybe this others group of people, they're that drill tweet. They're, me, a bunch of other stupid assholes are going to start this civilization in the desert and neither die or prove a very important point. Like they've decided that for some reason they're the good guys, they're good people, and they've discovered this, like some like magical properties of the island that like they're interpreting that to somehow have some sort of like moral valence and bearing on their moral standing or something. And the Dharma Initiative is yet another group that is interpreting this phenomena to be something of scientific importance, and have set up the bunkers and things like that, separate from everything else too. I don't know, study it, to, I guess, manage it is really what seems to be going on. If it really is the electromagnetic discharge thing that's happening, they're discharging it so it doesn't cause problems. But that's where I'm at with the overall mystery of the island, I think.
Okay,
how it fits in.
That's
there.
pretty comprehensive one. Nice. We'll see what happens next week / next year on
next
Lost.
week / next year. Ben, we get to talk about season 3 next week. I think that we should be all right. So we slowed down in the second half of season 2 because there was just so much unfolding, but I think, I mean, you've seen it, I haven't, I don't know, but I think we are ready to go back to watching 4 episodes for each podcast. So next week, listeners, how about this? Listeners, if you're somehow watching along with this, watch the next 4 episodes, watch season 3 episodes 1 through 4. And I think that's what we'll cover in our next episode. But if you actually watch ahead, then that's not a big deal. So yeah, season 3, episode 1 through 4. That's what we're doing next week. We saw the end of season 2. The finale was great. Oh, we didn't rate it. Or maybe we did, but I'm giving it a 4 out of 5.
4 from me.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for listening. That's all for the show. I don't know if we all do all this, but if you like the show and want to hear more, Patreon, right into the show, drskeletonsartschool@gmail.com. And next week, season 3, episodes 1 through 4. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.